Howdy guys, let's get to learning how to convert from grams of one chemical in a chemical reaction and converting to moles of another chemical in that chemical reaction. Now, hopefully you've watched or practiced the 8.1 and 8.2, but we learned about ratios of chemicals within a balanced reaction. And so we'll be using all that information today. We're really using a lot of information from Unit 7 also, where we converted from grams to moles using molar mass. So we're going to have to calculate molar mass here and use that ratio of grams to moles, which remember is finding molar mass. And you guys were doing really good with that. So let's look at this new skill here today, and we will make sure you've got it down. I think this is a real simple add-on. We're simply using our mole to mole ratio and our grams to mole ratio, or molar mass. Okay, so let's look at our first question here. So using this balanced equation that we have up here, remember, you know it's balanced because there's a coefficient. If there are no coefficients in front of any of the compounds, then you don't know if it's balanced. It doesn't mean that it's not balanced, because it could be balanced with no coefficients. But if there is a coefficient somewhere, then you know for certain that it is balanced, because it's the only reason you would have a coefficient is because it is a balanced equation. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our first question. It is, how many moles of NaF are produced from 84.2 grams of NaCl? So for example, so if you're trying to produce NaF, you only have 84.2 grams of NaCl. To produce it, you've got all the fluorine you need, but you're trying to figure out, well, how many moles of this NaF can I make with this 84.2 grams? Because that's how you can measure how much of something you have. You can't measure in moles. So you've got to be able to start with grams and go to moles. So what I like to do is teach you a method. And so remember, our method was we always want to underline what we're given. And so here's our given amount, and then circle what you're trying to find. Trying to find moles of NaF. All right. Now, we're always going to take, in a conversion, you're always going to take what you're given. This goes for all conversions all the time, every time you do a conversion, whether that's in nursing school, medical school, pharmacy school, it's conversion or cooking. It's always whatever you have that you started with. It's going to go up here on the start. All right. Now, you should have remembered what goes down on the bottom. Nothing. So don't put anything down there. Okay, so this is where we started. We started with grams. We have grams up here. We want to get to moles of NaF, but we have grams of NaCl. Well, what do we have to do as our first step, always in a conversion? We have to take our given unit and bring it down. So it's got to go down to the bottom, because remember, you're trying to cancel it out. And so we're going to move our grams of NaCl down to the bottom. And we learned in Unit 7 that if you have grams of something on one side, then the other side has to be moles of the same thing. Because we learned that grams per mole of a chemical is its molar mass. Molar mass would be what goes here. So we need to figure out the molar mass of NaCl. Well, I gave you some space. You can do this molar mass up here. So we're trying to find Na plus Cl. All right. We have one of each of those, so we really don't need to multiply anything. We just need to look up. Sodium 22.99 grams. Chlorine's 35.45 grams. I'm going to add the two of them up. All right, it's 58.44. The unit is grams, and it's grams of what? Grams of NaCl, that's right. All right, and it's grams of NaCl per 1 mole of NaCl. So that's why when we go back over here, we'll take our molar mass, put it with grams, 58.44 grams. It's per how many moles? 1. Exactly. So anytime you have moles with any other unit, moles is always going to be equal to 1. So all ratios where moles is with a different unit, moles is going to get a 1. Now in class, I would have spent a lot of time talking about this. This is a major point to understand, to remember these ratios with moles. It's always moles gets a 1, and then the other value gets the numbers that's different than 1. Okay, now we have grams of NaCl, grams of NaCl. What happens to those? Yep, they cancel out. Okay, now we have moles of NaCl. What do we want to find? We want to find moles of NaF, so we're not there yet. Okay, you cannot jump this step, okay? You have to go from grams of whatever you start with to moles of whatever you started with. But we can take another step. And so we're going to bring moles of NaCl, sorry about that, down here. And how can we change from moles of NaCl to moles of NaF? A mole to mole ratio? Yes, this is what we learned yesterday. And so we can go moles of one thing to moles of something else as long as we have a balanced formula. Now, where do we get the numbers for this? Yes, they come from the balanced formula. So we look and find NaCl. In the balanced formula, what number goes with NaCl? 2, which stands for 2 moles of it. NaF, look to our formula, NaF, what number? 2. Okay, so that's what goes with it. Now you have those in. Moles of NaCl on top and bottom cancel out. Moles of NaF is left, which is what our question asked us to find. We're ready to do the calculation. Now, when you go to do the calculation, you're going to multiply your top numbers. And remember, you're going to divide by the bottom numbers. So that's 84.2 times 2 divided by 58.44 and divided by 2. It comes out to, good job. Hopefully you got 1.44, and the unit is what is left on the top right, which is moles of NaF. All right, and that's how you do it. All right, so I'll let you do the others. Remember, you can always look back here. If you have any questions, please do ask me. I think on 1 through 4, they're all set up the same. There is really no big differences for any of them. So you guys should be able to do both sides without a problem, or all of them without a problem. I just have mine on 2 sides, but yours is all on 1 page. And certainly, give me a shout. I will post a key, let you check your answers, but remember, just make sure you show your work for all the problems. All right? Hey, I believe in you. I know you can do it. You got this.